My name is Karina Cortez. I'm 22 years old.
And what is your passion in life?
I think ultimately what my passion is creating a voice for marginalized communities, first generation students in the US, whether that be through artwork or, politics, whatever it may be. I really want to use my voice and my talents to create something for those that maybe aren't able to create, don't have the access to create things.
What culture were you raised in?
I was born in Mexican-American culture, so both of my parents immigrated here when they were teenagers, and then I was born here, and so it's very traditional Mexican culture, but also I feel like my parents have really embedded themselves in the American culture just because they came here for the American dream, and that's having a family, going to school, and just being financially stable and being able to do things comfortably here. So in that way we've become sort of Americanized, I guess you can say, although we still have very deep Mexican culture rooted in us. Yeah.
What is the first thing you think of when you hear the word failure?
There's a lot of things that come to mind when I think of failure, but I think ultimately it's being not genuine with those around me and especially with myself. And those are the moments where I have felt most failed. Yeah.
And what does failure mean to you?
Failure means doing things that I don't want to do. It's not that I don't want to do, but I feel like I'm just doing to please others and to make my way into this world and buying into this pressure that I feel like I have to live up to in order to be successful, but whatever success means. I don't know what that means, but you know what I mean.
Right.
But you know.
And do you think the culture you grew up in influenced the way you think about failure?
Yeah, immensely. I mean, I think my parents and I see failure in very different ways. Our expectations of myself are very different as well. So I think I feel a lot of failure when, I feel like I'm not living up to their expectations and to being like a pretty little Mexican daughter that they want, because I'm probably the complete opposite. But I know they still support me and they still love me, but I know we've gone through a lot just because I haven't been able to live up to that. So definitely it's influenced me a lot, because at the same time, my number one inspiration in everything I do is my family and my grandparents and them coming here to the United States to literally everything they do is for me, So it's a weird thing because all the time I'm constantly thinking about them and how much they inspire me and how hard they have had to work to get me here. But at the same time, it's so hard because I don't want to do what they want me to do. So I can't really satisfy them. I don't know. It's a very weird balance that I have to deal with all the time.
What is the failure that's impacted you the most in this life?
My biggest failure, I would say, was when I was in school. When I moved away from my hometown, I didn't really know anyone in Long Beach, where I was going to school. And so when I was going through hard times, I didn't really have anyone to go to. Because if I did go to my parents, they didn't really understand. They were like, "You're going to school, you should be happy, maybe working hard enough, or maybe you have to do this or do that, But I got to a point where I was doing all these things to try and prove myself that to others and to myself that I belonged there, and that I needed to be in school, and I was doing the right thing. So I was doing a bunch of businessy stuff and just things that I didn't really want to do, but I felt like I had to do in order to make something out of myself and make my parents proud or whatever. But I got to a point where I just feel like nothing really was making me happy, and I wasn't really getting to a point where I wanted to be, and I kind of just had a complete meltdown and didn't go to school for a month. and just really didn't want to be there. But I also didn't know where I wanted to be, because I didn't want to go back home, because I didn't feel like that was home, but I didn't feel like where I was home. And I think that happened because I wasn't being genuine with myself. Like, I really wasn't being honest with what I wanted to do, and I really wasn't being honest with others around me. You know, I wasn't happy, and I was going through a lot, and mental illness isn't something that is, I guess, real in Mexican American homes. So I really, like, not hated myself for it, but I really beat myself up about it, because I was like, why am I dealing with this? Like, I shouldn't have to be dealing with this. I'm in school, like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I shouldn't be feeling like this. So that made it even harder, because I felt like I was doing something wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And then I just had to have a complete meltdown in order to realize that really what I needed to be doing is what I wanted to be doing. And until I realized that, I was able to move forward and realize that I just had to say fuck it and do what I wanted to do, you know? And of course, like everyone else, that doesn't last forever, you know? We still have our times every now and then, and we still have to go through it. But I think realizing that I'm doing what I want to be doing is a huge help. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask, what do you wish first generation Americans could like redefine about, you know, how they view failure, starting a new life and a new legacy in America, and creating that independence from their family and from their culture? Yeah.
You know, I think, like I said, my biggest passion is really trying to help and give a voice to first generation students. And I've worked with a lot of first generation students, and we all struggle with the same things, you know? And it's kind of hard sometimes because I'm still trying to figure it out on my own. So it's hard to give advice to other first generation students, but I think we just have to like go for it, you know? I think we're very hardworking because of course we have everything, all our generations and generations behind us, that inspire us constantly. So we have that like motivation and that will inside of us to make shit happen, you know? But sometimes that shit that we want to make happen isn't the things that our family wants to happen, if that makes any sense at all. So I think, I don't know, it's really hard just because I still haven't figured it out myself. Trying to find a way to really explain myself and show myself in a way where I'm understood in the Mexican American, in my family, really, you know?
Yeah.
But I think as long as they see that I'm happy with what I'm doing, I think that's ultimately all they want to see. They really just want to see me happy, even if that's not doing something they want me to do. So that's why it's so important for me. But everything that I do, I just hope that in some way or another, it inspires someone else to really be like, wow, I just got to keep doing what I want to do, you know? That's it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, your individuality, I feel like, speaks for itself.
And like you said, just being authentic.
Yeah.
Because when I moved to school, it was the first time I was around that many white people at once. Because in Oxnard, it's all Mexican people, you know, and other cultures as well, but predominantly Mexican American families. And all of a sudden, people were telling me I had an accent and I wasn't saying words right, and correcting my language and the way I would say things. And that was a huge shock, you know, and I really tried to change it so people wouldn't say anything about it. But now I'm realizing, and this is something I always tell my kids too, because they would always tell me they didn't feel good enough because of their accent and the way they would speak compared to other students. And I was like, that literally does not matter at all, you know? Just keep talking the way you do. Like, you know who you are, like, you know what you know. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. I think that was one of the biggest failures, I guess you would say, when I was in school, is trying to really become this like white person, you know, that I wasn't. And it hurt a lot. It hurt a lot, as I feel like I wasn't being myself. And now I'm just like, fuck it. Yeah. I'm gonna speak Spanglish.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't care.
That's what I love about you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for being you and for doing that. So inspiring.